A lacrosse man who dedicated his life to being a voice for veterans and his community has died.
Louie Ferris was a Korean War veteran who spent his life creating more memorials for veterans here in La Crosse. News 8 Now's Dua Israr tells us what Louie meant to this community.
A hero.
I probably have never met a more patriotic veteran in my life.
A servant.
Called him up and asked him if he would come to our city council meeting. It was a regular city council meeting, and lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And of course he did, because that's who he was.
A pillar of the La Crosse community.
He meant the world to our department.
Louie Ferris was born and raised on the north side of La Crosse and spent his life fighting for veterans.
The minute he said, I'm fundraising for something, especially for the veterans and anything in the community, people were right on it.
The Veterans Freedom Park is what it is today because of Louie.
In the last couple of years, battling stage 4 cancer, but still pushing hard to get Veterans Freedom Park established.
Louie brought recognition to the Hmong Lao veterans.
He broke down so many barriers, between ethnicities and groups, and it was so cool to see that the trust and the relationships build.
And even in his last moments, he was active in his community.
And he couldn't have been happier. He's just bouncing around and saying hello to everyone and showing off the park and talking about the next steps and just engaging just how he always did.
His loss will be felt by many.
I would love to be able to figure out how to say there's this just big gaping hole that will happen because Louie Ferris is no longer with us.
And his spirit remains in those who respected and loved him.
Every time he'd call, he'd answer the phone. I started doing it now too since he did it, but he'd answer the phone and I'd say, hello. He'd go, oh, you're looking good.
And Louie Ferris's legacy lives on.
It's really up to the next generation, us, to pick up that torch and to carry that pride of ownership of this great country further.
Louie was 91 years old. The Parks and Rec Board says it will continue to create memorials in Freedom Park.
And they plan to continue Louie's legacy and fight for veterans.
It's amazing. He was doing some public speaking at one of those memorials not that long ago, and you would have never known how sick he was. He was just, it was so important for him to be there.
Again, battling stage 4 cancer, and he would not stop dedicating his life to our community.
Had a mission, that's for sure.